Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome to Inconvenient Truths. I'm your host, Jennifer Zheng. A lot of things have happened since we did our last show in 2022. Today is our first show in this new year. Because of the time limit, I will still mainly focus on the current outbreak situation in China and some astonishing numbers and facts that are related to it. First of all, as the CCP's National Health Commission has stopped releasing any outbreak-related figures, it has now become a guessing game for the outside world to work out what is happening in China. Although the National Health Commission has stopped releasing figures, some provinces in China are publishing numbers that they gather via sample surveys. Also, because the infection is no longer a problem, provinces have no problem releasing high infection rate numbers. As we said before, the CCP actually wanted to have as many people infected as fast as possible so the peak could come early. If the peak comes early, the end will also come early. That's what was in the CCP's mind when they made the decision to speed up the infection. Let's check some of the official infection rates. This is the chart released by Sichuan province based on the survey of over 158,000 people. It says the infection rate peaked on December 22nd and December 23rd and is now dropping. So based on this survey, Tang Xuefeng, party secretary and researcher of the CDC in Sichuan province, said that based on the comprehensive study and judgment of the survey results, he believed that the overall infection among residents of Sichuan had exceeded 80%. Hainan province reported an infection rate of over 50%. In the meantime, Chen Erzhen, deputy director of the Ruijin Hospital affiliated with Shanghai Jiaotong University, told the official media People's Daily on January 3rd that the infection in Shanghai city may have reached 70% of the population, more than 20 or 30 times the spring of 2022. Zheng Guang, former chief scientist of epidemiology at the Chinese CDC, said on December 29th that 80% of the population in Beijing might have been infected, and that was about 18 million people. He also said that in the entire China, 600 million may have been infected. So this is the number on December 29th. Now the rate must be higher. 600 million infections is a conservative number. If this many people have been infected, how many have died or will die? A Chinese language YouTuber called Caijin Lengyan, or Cool Eye on Finance, made some calculations based on the fatality in Japan. So the fatality of Omicron in Japan at the later stage was about 0.13%. So if 600 million in China have been infected, the death number will be 780,000. This is to say 780,000 people may have died since December. If we do the calculation based on the fatality in Japan at the early stage, which is 4.25%, the death toll in China will be 25.5 million. This means 25.5 million people might have died in China since December. If we use the average fatality figure of the early stage and the late stage, which is 2.2%, the death toll in China will be 13.2 million. If all 1.4 billion Chinese people are infected, the death toll will be about 30 million. So if 30 million people die in just 2 or 3 months, this will be another unprecedented event in human history. The above are calculations by Cai Jin Leng Yan. Now, if we use Hong Kong's fatality rate at the fifth wave, which is 0.51% to calculate, the death toll for 600 million infections is 3 million and 7 million for 1.4 billion people. As a matter of fact, the virus spread in China like a hurricane. In only 20 days, it has infected more people in China than it did in the entire world in 3 years. According to famous Shanghai doctor Zhang Wenhong, 1.1 billion Chinese people may be infected when Chinese New Year comes, which will be January 22nd, only 18 days later. The high number of infections and deaths can be verified through many different channels. Here, I'd like to share only 2 videos and one later. The first video shows that a previous quarantine center in Miyun County near Beijing is being converted into a crematorium.
不见了，建他妈火葬场了，要开始建这个。看看，这是烧人的大炉。看看，我操，他哪了我？
The man who recorded the video said that we no longer build Fangchang hospitals, we are building big furnaces that cremated people. Look at this. Out of 1.4 billion people, get 800 million burned first. Will our living standards be better after that?
看看，烧8亿，咱这生活水平应该提高了，是吧？你看看这建的。 我操！这工人，你看看，哎呀，我的妈呀！看看。
Well, that is in Miyun County near Beijing. The second video was recorded 2 days ago on January 2nd. It shows that at Yiyang City in Hunan province in China, they are urgently expanding a crematorium. See, these are all the furnaces. I've muted this video because they put on a funny song in it. But you can still see the images. So many furnaces. So that's a video from Yiyang City in Hunan province. Now let's see the letter. This letter is from Sichuan Short Process Steel Mill on December 29th. The letter was written to the Sichuan Civil Affairs Bureau. It says, due to the cyclical nature of the industry, most short process steel mills in the province are now not operating now. We noticed that due to the outbreaks and the seasonal factors, the equipment of crematoriums is overloaded and customers have to wait for a long period of time. So we'd like to apply for permission to offer cremation service, etc. The letter also says that we have advantages in doing the cremation as the traditional cremation uses oil and this is not environmentally friendly. Short process steel mill electric furnaces use electricity. The temperature is higher and the burning is more complete and thorough. The process is shorter, so we can cremate more bodies in the same period of time and reduce people's waiting time. The letter ends with such a sentence: "Time waits for no one. We look forward to your earliest possible reply." Well, I don't know whether this application was approved or not, but this letter tells us how badly more cremation services are needed in China now. Now, everybody might say how sad this situation is, but for the CCP, there actually exists at least one benefit. What is the benefit? Suppose that 30 million die, and most of them are elderly people. How much pension will they save for the CCP? Let's suppose each of them receives a monthly pension of 3,000 yuan and each of them lives 5 fewer years. Then the deaths of 30 million retired people will save the CCP 5.4 trillion yuan. According to a study by the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, the basic pension fund for urban employees will not cover its expenses after 2028 in China, with the annual shortfall reaching 118 billion yuan and expanding nearly 100 times to 11.28 trillion yuan in 2025. The accumulated pension fund balance is also not promising. It will peak at 6.99 trillion yuan in 2027 and then decline each year, likely to be used up by 2035. In 2020, China spent 5.75 trillion yuan on social security, including basic pension, unemployment benefit, and work injury insurance, and the total accumulated balance is 6.13 trillion yuan. So this is to say, if 5.4 trillion yuan can be saved, the saved amount is enough to sustain China's social security expenditure for 1 year. When the CCP is running out of its pension fund, this kind of saving equates to saving the CCP's life. Well, I think that's why many people believe that the CCP intentionally accelerated the outbreak so that elderly people can be eliminated to reduce the CCP's financial burden. Another very prominent feature of this round of outbreak in China is the intensive deaths of a large number of high-ranking CCP officials and celebrities. We've talked about this last time, but new names keep being added to that list, and the death of a particular official unintentionally revealed a big and shocking secret of the CCP. The official is Gao Zhanxiang. He was the former party secretary and vice chairman of the China Federation of Literary and Art Circles and a former vice minister of deputy party secretary of the Ministry of Culture. So he was a ministerial level CCP official. He died in Beijing on December 9th at the age of 87. However, the CCP's most important mouthpiece, Xinhua, only published the news about his death on January 2nd. I don't know why it took Xinhua more than 20 days to announce his death. Anyway, after Xinhua published the news about Gao's death, people noticed an article written by Zhu Yongxin, who is a member of the Standing Committee of the CCP's Political Consultative Conference and the Vice Chairman of the Central Committee of China Association for Promoting Democracy. This article was written to pay tribute to Gao Zhanxiang, and there are such sentences in it. Over the years, this is I quote, over the years, Gao Zhanxiang had been tenaciously fighting the diseases. Many of his organs had been replaced. He jokingly said that many parts of his body were not his own. However, before the pandemic, he was still hale and hearty. He thought quickly and spoke loudly, completely unlike a patient. I didn't expect that he would leave us so soon, unquote. Well, this article was written to praise Gao Zhanxiang, but people soon started to ask, wait a minute, many of his body parts were not his own, and many of his organs had been replaced. Where did he get all the organs? We've talked about the CCP's unprecedented crime of organ harvesting, of mass killing people alive to get their organs in some of our previous shows. But this is the first time that one of the CCP's own people revealed unintentionally that Gao Zhanxiang, a ministerial-level party official, had many of his organs replaced. This article was later deleted after causing a lot of raised eyebrows. As a matter of fact, some people say that the reason why so many high-level CCP officials suddenly died in such an intensive manner is exactly that many of them had received organ transplants. You know, after people receive organs from another person, they have to take medicines for life to suppress their body's rejection of foreign organs. So these people are easier to be infected by viruses. If they receive vaccines, the effect will not be as good. Some of them dare not receive vaccines at all. How many of the high-level CCP officials have received organ transplants? This is a top-level secret for the CCP. But many people know that there is a so-called 981 Health Project for leaders in China, which aims to extend the life expectancy of CCP leaders to 150 years. 150 years. Let's watch a video end of this project, which was once circulated on Chinese social media, but was later deleted.
至今，首长医疗保健工作在60多年的探索与实践中，形成了集预防、医疗、保健、康复、疗养为一体，防癌。
Well, this video ad openly boasted that the average life expectancy of CCP leaders was far longer than leaders of developed Western countries. The video especially talks about the rejuvenation of organ function. How can you do that apart from replacing their organs with that of young people's?
中国的首长医疗保健体系是经实践认可、卓有成效的全球第一医疗保健体系。
Well, that's and opening advertising and boasting how much longer the CCP leaders can live in China. So that is a project in China. Many CCP leaders did live much longer than leaders of Western countries. For example, Deng Xiaoping lived for 93 years, Jiang Zemin 96 years, Wan Li, he's the former chairman of China's People's Congress, lived for 99 years. Wang Dongxing, former vice chairman of the CCP's Central Committee, lived for 100 years. Deng Liqun, former secretary of the Central central secretariat of the CCP also lived for 100 years, etc. As a matter of fact, Guo Jun, sorry, not this one. Guo Jun, she is the chief editor of the Chinese language edition of the Epoch Times, revealed in a TV show several days ago that a Chinese expert told her one of the reasons why the CCP had to adopt the insane zero-COVID policy was exactly to protect those high-level CCP officials who have received new organs. Many of them dare not receive vaccines. So if the virus became out of control in China, they would become the most vulnerable population. Well, this is something I have never heard about before. But the fact that so many high-level CCP officials died recently in such a short period of time seems to be consistent with this allegation. Guo Jun said the deaths of a large number of high-ranking CCP officials would also cause more uncertainty to the CCP's fate in 2023. Well, 2023 is a new year. We don't know what is in store for us, but two things are sure for China. Many people are dying and will die because of the pandemic, and the CCP will encounter greater challenges from all fronts. I'll talk about this later. Well, that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. If you're already subscribed, please like and share my content, and please check if you are still subscribed. Also, if you could, please go to my website at jenniferzengblog.com. That's jenniferzengblog.com. Sign up for membership and make a donation to support my truth-telling efforts. Thank you. Happy New Year again, and see you next time.